All right, we are back. This is Any Given Sunday with Rob Liano. 10 a.m. Sunday morning. God, my God, I don't know what to say right now. Let's let's start with the rant of the week. I was talking about the rant of the week every now and then, and I really think that this might be a kind of a big one for me. Uh, I don't know. I expressed this in an earlier show, but to some of you guys, I am a San Francisco 49ers fan. And that's my rant of the week. The San Francisco 49ers. What is wrong with the San Francisco 49ers? I don't even know where to start on here. I mean, last week, just one of the worst weeks they could ever have. They had a huge loss to the Rams. They couldn't even get a single touchdown on the board. They traded Vernon Davis. Now we know that Carlos Hyde and Reggie Bush, they're not coming back for the rest of the season. They benched Colin Kaepernick in favor of Blaine Gabbert, who, if I can remember, I'm pretty sure you guys can remember too. He didn't play well in Jacksonville, so I don't really see him playing well here in San Francisco either. So there's that. What I'm wondering is what caused this to happen. I'm thinking about this. The front office of the San Francisco 49ers has been a little quiet lately. But in the past, they were very verbal. They're very verbal when it comes to how Jed York calls winning with class. You know, when he says winning with class, that really, that when he said that the first time after the quote-unquote firing of Jim Harbaugh, or the departure from Jim Harbaugh, the mutual agreement to leave each other, I don't even know that winning with class, that's, he pretty much said that is the 49ers' main goal, to win with class. Now, as much as the San Francisco 49ers, I would love to see, first of all, the Niners to win, and, hey, be a little bit classy about it. But that shouldn't be your main goal. Your main goal is to win games. Do whatever you can to win games. And they haven't even been doing that. They have not been winning games. And in the last year, why didn't they win games? I'm not blaming Colin Kaepernick, but Colin Kaepernick did not have a good season last season. He's benched now because he's having a terrible season now. Colin Kaepernick, the thing is, he stopped running the read option. What happened there? In the first 2 years of his, first 1.5 years more of him being starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, he ran the read option. That was his main play. And when he did it really well. We saw against the Packers in the playoffs. Well, we just saw the entire season. He always went off. But then all of a sudden, the very next season, last season, they changed the play call. I mean, I didn't really see much change in the coaching staff. We still had the same quarterback, didn't we? And there's all these different things. It's like, what happened? Obviously it's not Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh didn't tell Colin Kaepernick, hey, stop running the read option and try to be a pocket passer. No, I did not see that. It was the front office. That's really where I think it is, because it is without any question that the front office of the San Francisco 49ers had a very ill relationship with former head coach Jim Harbaugh. Now, if that's the reason to get rid of your coach, I don't even know where to go. Because Jim Harbaugh, I mean, number one, still let your coach be free. Obviously, we saw that they didn't Jim Harbaugh let him run the plays that he wanted to do because they didn't let Colin Kaepernick run his read option. They didn't look like the offense that they were. So, excuse me. So where do we go from there? Like, what? We've been seeing a lot of this lately. Even now, is the one that really hurts me that talked about the most is the Vernon Davis trade. You know, I'm pretty vocal with, a lot of people that I know. I tell them, Vernon Davis is my favorite 49er. I love Vernon Davis. And then he gets traded. What is this? A lot of the fan base loves San Francisco. Like, they love Vernon Davis. So, why trade Vernon Davis? He's still a great tight end, isn't he? Let's look a few weeks back, shall we? A few weeks ago, there was a report coming out of Vernon Davis where he said that Colin Kaepernick is on an island. More like, where he's separated from the rest of the team. Look, everyone's looking down on him. No one has any relationship with him anymore because they can't trust him anymore. But what I'm looking at is right after the 49ers immediately dismissed that, saying, no, Colin Kaepernick is not on an island. We fully support him, and that's that. And then a week later, they trade Vernon Davis. Or a couple weeks later. It's... What? Oh my God. I can tell. That's not Jim Tomsula talking when I hear him talk. When I see Jim Tomsula talking, I feel as if I'm listening to Jed York. The ignorance of Jed York. Because these past couple years, the only thing that we've been seeing is Jed York talking about the Niners' main goals, but they're not doing anything about it. And that's where I think where the 49ers should look at first. When this offseason comes, who knows what their ending record is going to be? Maybe they're going to get the first overall pick in the NFL draft. But when their season ends, maybe even sooner, I have no idea, is fire Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke, the other guy in the front office, is another, I guess, best friend with Jed York. So, Jed York says what to do. Trent Baalke agrees with them. Jim Tomsula is their yes man. That's what's going on at the San Francisco 49ers. I don't see any life in them anymore. They're just like, all right, let's just keep it for our goal. There's anything that doesn't go on with class, then let's get rid of them. That is their problem. They're focusing. So when they say win with class, they are saying, let's focus on the class part first, and then let's win. when I think of win with, but when I personally, and maybe a lot of the other guys think it's the same thing as me, when I hear win with class, I think win first, and then act actually classy about it. Act classy about your win. Don't focus on the class part first, Jed York and Trent Baalke. Focus on the winning. And obviously, the Niners have not been doing that. They're 2-6. I mean, come on. And now they're gonna have starting Blaine Gabbert against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what to say there. I mean, yes, it is in Santa Clara at home. Kind of giving them a little bit of support there. But then again, who's supporting the Niners right now anymore? We do have, I mean, there's still some diehard fans out there like myself. But we even saw the support is gone. Earlier this week, Jed York tried to, he wanted to give away tickets. Like, Jed York! He was like, hey, here, have some free tickets. And people went on Twitter about that to say that they're not going to take tickets from him because they hate him, that's for sure. Everyone in the San Francisco fan base hates Jed York right now. They want him gone. They think it's completely pathetic that he's giving away tickets. I mean, think about this. A lot of guys, like myself, who are Niner fans, have not gone to Levi Stadium, their new stadium. And I even live like 15 minutes away from it when I'm home. Back in my home in San Jose, California. So, a lot of guys want to go to Levi Stadium, but they're still rejecting tickets. See, if Jim Harbaugh was still there, maybe, and they had some kind of win, a little bit better. Maybe they'd be 500 right now. Maybe they'd be 4-4. But if they try to give away tickets, then people are like, oh yeah, sure. People love Jim Harbaugh. That's the thing. Let's rewind a little bit to the no longer running the read option. That's where we got to focus on too. Is obviously that wasn't Jim Harbaugh talking. I was saying that, but of course Colin Kaepernick just started trying to be a pocket passer. And then that's when the Niners went down. Then we had the situation when they were saying that Harbaugh and the front office, Trent Baalke and Jed York didn't get along. But and then they split. Hold on a sec. You split Jim Harbaugh from just what happened in that one season because you didn't get along. But what happened the last 3 years with Jim Harbaugh? The 2011 season, they turned what was a 6-10 season into a 13-3 season. Now that's a huge turnaround. They went on to go, they easily won the NFC West. They beat the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Divisional title with an amazing Vernon Davis catch. They lost in the NFC Championship that game to the New York Giants. Let's look at the next year. Not too much worse. Like I believe it was 12-3-1. Then they go on and they go to the Super Bowl. They actually go to the Super Bowl and barely lose by one. Like, they were literally one play from actually winning the Super Bowl. Now, this is still Jim Harbaugh here. The next year, NFC Championship again. Third NFC Championship in a row under Jim Harbaugh. I have not seen. I don't think there has even been a coach to go like that. To bring a really, really bad team to something like that. They go to the NFC Championship for that third year in a row. And, of course, a lot of Niner fans remember this. There's the final breakup in the final seconds of the play by Richard Sherman. Okay, that's that. They come back the next season, and all of a sudden things have changed. Now, and then of course, that's when we fast forward to the splitting of Jim Harbaugh. So, what I'm really trying to think about right here is where are the Niners going to go from here? I mean, they said they were going to win a class. Okay. Then do it. Try it. Obviously, right now, you're not winning. And obviously, through the acts that the front office is doing, that's definitely not class to me. So to the front office, Jed York and Trent Baalke. Speaking of which, actually, I did meet Jed York at one point, and although I did get a picture with him, because he's the CEO and owner of the San Francisco 49ers, and I thought it was pretty cool at the time. But one thing that I didn't really mention when I told people I met him was he just seemed arrogant. He just seemed like, when I asked him, he had that look that he was above me. I kind of felt downgraded. I mean, given that he is above me. I mean, he's the CEO, but I'm a fan. I mean, come on. You don't do that to fans. I wouldn't do that. If I were to be owner, I'd be more down to earth. And not like Jed York was. But anyways, Jed York and Trent Baalke. If you want to win with class, don't get rid of people who are trying to who are in the way of that happening. Just focus on winning as much as you can. And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, you guys have to go. And obviously the fan base right now is totally agreeing with that. Alright, Camp Radio. This is Any Given Sunday with Rob Leano on Camp Student Radio. We are going to take a break. That was a bit of a long rant. I don't know, I mean, a little bit mixed up today. Kind of all over the place because, going back and forth. It's... But, it's San Francisco 49ers, so what are you going to expect? It's my team. Anyways, we are going to take a break here on Camp Student Radio. Stay tuned. Sorry about that, guys. We're coming back very soon. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, we are back to Any Given Sunday with Rob Liano. So, on Camp Student Radio. My bad. Anyways. So, let's move on from the 49ers now. Let's talk more NFL. It's week 9. It's 10:30. That means in half an hour, the first kick of week 9 will kick off. And we have quite an interesting set of games here. None of them really too special. But let me focus on some of the big name games of the week, in my opinion. So for the first one, for the first set of big name games here, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Carolina Panthers. So these two teams are two of the greatest teams right now, as what I've seen from the NFL. And the Panthers are undefeated. The Packers only have one loss. So that's what I'm trying to look at is, I talked about this before, where the Panthers have pretty much had an easy schedule lately. They had the Jaguars, they had the Texans, the Saints, the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Colts. And some of them, they barely won. Now, I'm not dissing Cam Newton or the Panthers or anything. They're a pretty good team. But their schedule says something. Because if you look at the Packers, you have a little bit of a different story. They beat the Bears pretty easily. Okay, pretty easily. The Bears aren't a very good team. So, okay. And they beat the Seahawks. They're mediocre. They're definitely not going to win the NFC West. I can tell you that right now. And later, maybe I'll tell you who I believe will win that division, but maybe another time. We'll see. Then they go against the Chiefs. Pretty easy win. Chiefs, they're kind of, down right now. So, okay. Then they went to Santa Clara against my 49ers. And 17-3. Easy win for them. Against the Rams. 14-10. 24-10. Rams they're definitely better than the 49ers. They're better than their other teams. But they're still a mediocre team. So, against the Chargers, they actually barely won that one. 27-20. That was pretty close. And then their one loss. Just last week. Just last Sunday night. Against the Denver Broncos. Now, it wasn't even, they barely lost by 1 point, or by 3 points, or by 4, or by 7. Just by 1 touchdown. No, it wasn't that. The Green Bay Packers lost to the Denver Broncos 29-10. So, what does that say? Who's going to win this game between Green Bay and Carolina? It's really difficult to tell because, Aaron Rodgers, fantastic, really good quarterback. Cam Newton, he's also He's not. I wouldn't necessarily put him on the category of elite, but he is good. Cam Newton is good, and the rest of his team, his defense, is solid. The offense behind Cam Newton is solid. Now the Packers, I mean, yeah, they're good. In their defense, led by Clay Matthews, there's one thing to already look at already. Is Clay Matthews going to contain? Is Clay Matthews going to do this? Is Clay Matthews going to do that? That's the one thing they're focusing on or they always focus on, for that matter, when it comes to Green Bay. Can Clay Matthews contain? Can he perform against this team? Now, here's the thing. Clay Matthews might have a hard time if he were to be doing the pass rushing, which I expect him to be doing so. He's going to probably have a hard time containing Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton is doing what Colin Kaepernick aspires to be. A running quarterback who can throw. And who can do both in the perfect or near perfect dual threat. So, what he's doing is, as we know, pretty much what I just said. When he needs to, he will run the ball, and he's fast on doing so. And when he wants to, he will throw the ball, and he does it well. He's got some pretty solid, he's got some pretty solid receiving core, and well, we're going to see a pretty good matchup here between these two teams. But let's take a look at the rest of the Panthers' offense. So, what we got here. Wow. Oh. My stats isn't showing. But anyways, this Carolina team has got a lot of potential. But this Green Bay team has a lot of experience. This Green Bay team, led by Aaron Rodgers on the offense and led by Clay Matthews on the defense, is going to do really well at Carolina. And there's the thing to focus on. It's at Carolina. So it's going to be the Panthers have that behind them. But it's going to be a close game. It's going to be really close because these are two solid teams. So, without me trying to say too much, going too much in depth, I want to make a prediction here. So what I'm going to say is that the Green Bay Packers will pick themselves up after that win. And they will win in Carolina. And they're going to win 24-21. That's my prediction right there. 24-21 Packers at Bank of America Stadium in North Carolina. Alright, that's the morning game. Our 11 a.m. game of the week. And for those who you are watching or listening from other time zones, yes, we are in the Mountain Time Zone, so that's why I'm saying 11 a.m. Alright, let's move on. So, now we have the afternoon games. I've got nothing. I have no desire to look at those. Those aren't really that great to look at. I've seen them all. I see. If you want me to show you, I will show you which ones they are. Which are the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nothing special there. The Atlanta Falcons, the San Francisco 49ers. Nothing special there. Atlanta, they've been pretty solid lately, so Nothing to say. And the Broncos and the Colts. Nothing. I mean, the only special thing about the Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts is what social media likes to call the War of 1812. The War of Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. It's for many of you, most of you should know that Peyton Manning used to be an Indianapolis Colt and he was replaced by Andrew Luck. But here's the thing. Actually, I am going to go a little bit in depth on this because this is actually, because, maybe it is good to talk about this. But Peyton Manning's on a downswing. He's getting old. He's not playing well. And it looks like we have a caller. This is Rob Liano on Cap Radio. Oh. Excuse me, guys. I will be right back once I go figure this out. Alright, we're back. Sorry guys, that was a little weird, the phone. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But anyways, Denver Broncos and Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning is getting old. We talked about that. He's not playing that well anymore as he used to. He's not the star quarterback as we saw before. And on the other side of the fence, Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts are doing absolutely terrible. They cannot run plays as well as they can. They almost beat Carolina last week. But what else can we go from there? What more can we say? I mean, the Denver recently got Vernon Davis from the 49ers. So that gives Peyton Manning another threat in the air. The question is he going to use him? I don't know. But that new threat is there because Vernon Davis is a really good tight end. But the other thing we got to look at, though, is, well, there's actually not much. That's the thing about this game is, that history between Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and the fact that both of them aren't playing as well. But the Denver Broncos as a whole are still a really solid team. We saw that last week against Green Bay when they just completely killed them. So, that game, my prediction will be Denver Broncos 35, Indianapolis Colts 17. There's my prediction, 35-17 Broncos. Alright, now let's move on to the next game. We got a rivalry game. This rivalry game excuse me. Anyways, this rivalry game is a really interesting one. It's, Eagles and Cowboys. Historic rivalry. Sunday night. But, here's the thing. Des Bryant is back on the Cowboys. But Tony Romo's still gone. So, what do we make of this? The Eagles, Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray, and the Cowboys, who recently got Des Bryant back, but they don't have Tony Romo back for another 2 weeks. So, Eagles haven't been playing as well as they used to. And the Cowboys, well, they've just been losing all over the place. The Cowboys been losing now they have Des Bryant back, but they're still losing. They need Tony Romo back. Now there always used to be a there always used to be this thing where everyone would make fun of Tony Romo because Tony Romo would choke in December. He would be the one that, because they can't make it to the playoffs because Tony Romo this, Tony Romo that. But right now this season is proven that without Tony Romo, the Cowboys can't win at all. And now we got to look at can the Cowboys come back? Can they get at least one win before Tony Romo comes back in 2 weeks on the 22nd? And that's going to be really hard for them. But there's not much to say from that. I mean, it's, it is what it is. The Cowboys can't win right now, and they're going against their rivals. But, can they protect their turf? That's the question. Can the Cowboys protect their turf in Dallas? It's going to be. I don't know how to say whether or not it's going to be a close game or not. I'm going to say that this game, because of, everything that's been going on in Dallas, it's going to be Eagles 27, Cowboys 17. There's my predictions there. Eagles are just going to be playing better. Cowboys don't have Tony Romo, so they're not really going to make much. Most is probably going to be on the ground. I don't know, but we'll see from there. All right, we're going to take. Well, actually, no, we don't have too much time, so I'm going to move right on to my next topic of this day. We got the Golden State Warriors. Now, of course, at the beginning of the show, I talked about the San Francisco 49ers, and now I'm talking about Golden State. So, okay. What's going on here? Well, my Niner rant was about how bad they're playing. But this Warriors talk, notice I'm calling it a talk and not a rant. The Warriors, they're 7-0. Oh my God, what? This is their best start since moving from the West Coast from Philadelphia. And their best start ever was in 1960 when they started their season 9-0. Look how close they are to actually beating that. They are 2 games away. And what are their next two games? Detroit Pistons and Memphis Grizzlies. So, what are we going to say of that? Well, we got to look at Stephen Curry. That's the main guy we got to look at. Stephen Curry is putting up everywhere. He had several good games. Without a doubt, everyone can say right now he's one of the best players in the NBA. Or arguably the best player in the NBA. Because Stephen Curry is just unstoppable. He shoots the ball most of the time from behind that 3-point arc. And quite a lot of those times, it goes in. So, what are we going to say from that, though? It's the coaching of Luke Walton, through the words of Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr is still out. The coaching, the coaching is, nothing's changed because, they're almost essentially the same guys. Luke Walton looks to Steve Kerr up. He looks up to him, and he takes his advice, and he does what's best for the team. And that's the thing is they look at Steve Kerr's big mantra, if I say, of the Golden State Warriors is that they're a big picture team. And that's what it is. They are a big picture team. They, you look at this team. They're doing really well. And they're just going to keep winning. I mean, not just of Stephen Curry. who's who's shooting a certain amount. I'm trying to find the statistic here, but who's just doing really, really well right now. But not just Stephen Curry. We're looking at other teams, overall as a team. I'm not gonna name any specific players, but of course, I still probably should. Guys like Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, guys like them. Everyone contributes. Everyone on the team contributes. So that's what makes the Warriors so good. Is they don't look to one guy. They're not like saying their mantra is not pass it to Stephen Curry. He's gonna win it for us. He does get the majority of the points, but that's not their goal. Everyone wants to contribute, and when everyone contributes, they do better. They just played the Kings last night, and they beat them 103-94. And they're going against Detroit tomorrow, and they can win that game. Then they're going against the Grizzlies again. The last time they played the Grizzlies, they beat them by 50. So, or by probably 30 or something like that. But it was a huge game. That was one of their worst losses in Memphis history, in their franchise history. That was, that kind of loss does hurt. But no, let's keep the eye on the Golden State Warriors. If they can win these next two games, I wouldn't necessarily say with ease, but it's most likely that they can win these next two games. And that's the thing about the Golden State Warriors. Is this team, they're looking to make a statement. That statement being that last year was not a fluke. And that's probably mostly a response to during the preseason, about a month back when Doc Rivers, essentially said, no, they didn't win, they got lucky. Yeah, sure, they got lucky playing a little bit of easier teams. But they still won, But was it the fluke? That's what they're proving now. They're proving that they're not a fluke. They're 7-0. They're the best team in the NBA. They got the best record. So, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that next week. We'll take a review of how the Warriors are doing then. Maybe who knows how they're going to be by the time I come back on here. We're going to talk more about the NFL. And finally next week, I'm going to give a little bit of talk about NCAA basketball. Season's finally back. So be sure to tune in next week on Any Given Sunday with Rob Liano.
Thank you, YouTubers, for listening to Any Given Sunday. This was Rob Liano, signing off.